Hi everyone, my name is End and we are back. To those who are new here, welcome. My name is End and I like to post short mini comics on Instagram. I just finished When Life Gives You Tangerines and wow, this series really stuck with me. If you haven't seen it yet, it's a Korean drama on Netflix. I adored it. It's warm, emotional, heartbreaking, but totally worth the tears. It's one of those shows that quietly teaches you so much about life, about being a woman, a daughter, and if you're okay with crying, I definitely recommend giving it a watch. I've always had a soft spot for movies and shows set in the 90s or earlier. Aside from the interesting take of history, there's just something about that aesthetic that draws me in. So the moment I saw the banner for When Life Gives You Tangerines, I was already interested. I tend to fall for dramas that remind me of my partner, and this one did just that. One Shake's love is the kind of love I think we all hope to experience at least once in our life. Their relationship was so tender and sweet. I love how grounded he was, how he was always willing to give Asun everything without expecting anything in return. And it's so cute that he wanted to be her first lady when they were kids. His love wasn't just romantic, but it was also nurturing. It allowed her to grow, to thrive, and even after he was gone, you could still feel the impact of the love they had shared. His love and support truly allowed Asun to shine in ways she probably never imagined for herself. He saw her potential and stood by her without ever dimming her light. So, yeah. And although the love story was initially what pulled me into the series, I can't ignore how beautiful Asun's character development was throughout the show. She started off as this shy, young girl who couldn't even sell her own cabbages, and by the end, she had become this bold, street smart Ajuma selling food with confidence. What struck me the most was that her growth wasn't just for herself, it was fueled by her love for her children and her family. She matured into someone strong, wise, but what I loved most was how she always admitted she still didn't really know what she was doing, and that felt so real to me. When I was a kid, I used to think adults had it all figured out, that they knew exactly what they were doing. But now that I am an adult, I realize that most of us are just figuring things out as we go. I look back at how my parents raised us, and it's clear that they were doing the same, navigating parenthood without a perfect guide. Looking back, I realized I didn't get a lot of affection growing up. Probably not the same kind of adoration that my mom had for my brother. She adored me in some kind of way, but you know how middle children. And in my early 20s, I started noticing things that I struggled with, like how hard it is for me to express myself without getting emotional, or how uncomfortable I get in social situations. I think this is something that a lot of us, especially in Asian or Filipino households, like in my generation, I think they can relate to this. But growing up, if we made a mistake, we weren't always given the safe space to explain how we felt. My mom would ask what was wrong, but she was such a tiger mom that I was just too scared to speak up. I didn't want to make her even angrier. And now, as an adult, that fear still lingers, and I find myself holding back when I need to share my thoughts or feelings. If someone asks me for my opinion or confronts me about something, I sometimes end up crying. Not because I'm weak, but because it brings me right back to those childhood moments, feeling like I was in trouble again. For a long time, I pointed a finger at my mom, but as I got older, I started to understand where she was coming from. She had her own difficult past, growing up with 12 siblings in a mountain village. with no exposure to what we now call gentle parenting. She had to move to a small city, raise 3 kids mostly on her own while my dad spent most of his days buried at work. And looking back now, I see her differently. She's strong, wise, and incredibly generous. And I'm genuinely proud of how far she's come. That image of her as a tiger mom came from a place of love. She wanted us to be disciplined, responsible, and resilient. She didn't want us to rely on others to survive. She wanted us to find strength in ourselves. And honestly, that's why my siblings and I aren't quick to give in to things that could lead us down the wrong path. I've come to realize that what matters is acknowledging your weaknesses and making the effort to grow from them. For a long time, I saw my fear of speaking up as a flaw, but now I see strength in it. Because I hesitate, I take time to think before I speak. Even when I'm upset, I try not to let my words spill out carelessly. And I think there's something beautiful in that restraint. These days, I'm slowly learning how to be more open with my thoughts, to not be so afraid of rejection or criticism. It's so hard, but I believe I'll get there, I guess, little by little. And speaking of parents, I also deeply resonated with their kids, especially Gumyong and her desire of giving back to her family. I think a lot of us carry that sense of gratefulness to our parents. They're not perfect, but we are who we are today because of their love and sacrifices. I'm not like Gumyong in the sense that I didn't feel intense pressure to succeed because of what my parents gave up for me. But every time she went home after life got hard and her parents treated her like a princess, that just melted my heart. When I was diagnosed with lupus in late December last year, I became the family princess for the first time in my life. Everything was done for me while I was recovering. My mom cooked warm, nourishing meals to help me get my strength back. I had to sleep in my parents' room because the flare-up symptoms made it too hard to climb up to the bed I shared with my sister. So my poor dad slept on the living room couch for weeks until our new bed arrived. I felt incredibly thankful, but also a little ashamed. At my age, I thought I should be the one taking care of them, not the other way around. And I knew my mom never showed how worried she was, but I could feel it. And my dad tried to help in his own way. He kept ordering random products from the internet that would say that it would help my inflammation. But thankfully he stopped now because, it's a waste of money. And I've always dreamed of repaying my parents, of giving them the comfortable life that they deserve, maybe even helping them retire in the US one day if God allows it. But during that time, I realized that giving back doesn't have to wait for something big. I could start with small things like cooking, cleaning, washing the dishes. And I used to hate washing the dishes, but now I do it because while I was recovering, it felt really good to be able to wash the dishes without my wrists hurting. So yeah, I think with everything I've shared so far, you can probably see why this drama meant so much to me. It reflected the bittersweet parts of life so honestly. It inspires you to keep living. It's a kind of series that makes you cry, then sit still for a moment, reflect, and feel genuinely thankful for life, for family, and for how far you've come. It reminds us that even in the middle of a storm, we have to keep going, because the storm will pass, and brighter days will come again. One of my favorite moments was at the end, when Aesun tells Gumyong that she still feels like a young girl, and the only thing that's changed is the old woman she sees in the mirror. That line really stuck with me. I've always believed that age is just a number, and I feel that too. I may be in my late 20s, but deep inside, I still feel like a 12-year-old. And I think I'll carry that feeling with me even when I'm 90. I think it's important to keep seeing life through the eyes of a child, filled with wonder, hope, and amazement. That childlike perspective allows us to keep a light, joyful heart even when life tosses us side to side. It helps us endure the chaos with grace, knowing that eventually we'll reach the next destination God has prepared for us. So yeah, that was a lot of reflection for me, really. But I just really love this show, and it inspired me so much to make something that's going to make my readers do or feel the same thing. Um, so yeah, I made this fan art, and I just thought I'd share my reflection about the whole show in some way. I am very interested to read about what you guys think about the show to those who watched it. And yeah, this is it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.